Hello and welcome to College Hype Live with me, your host, Matt McKay. Today I'm going to be talking about the Orange Bowl in this year's college football playoff semifinal between the Clemson Tigers of the ACC and the Oklahoma Sooners of the Big 12. Both teams won their respective conferences and are going to be looking to get, for Oklahoma, to their first national championship game since 2009, where it lost to Florida, and for the Tigers, since 1981, where it lost to the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Orange Bowl. So, both teams want to get back. Obviously, none of the players for Oklahoma were on the team back in '09 when they lost that championship, but the coaches were, so they're going to want to win a game on such a big stage, bring a championship back to Norman. So that'll be a big deal for them. But anyway, this is going to be a game filled with offense. If you love offense, you're going to want to watch this game. There's going to be a lot of running, a lot of passing, and I can't see a whole lot of defense happening in this game. Both offenses are just too overpowering. But on that note, let's start off with the defenses for the teams. Obviously, you know that Clemson is led by a fantastic quarterback, and so is Oklahoma with Baker Mayfield for the Sooners and Deshaun Watson for the Clemson Tigers, finishing 2 and 4 in the Heisman rankings this year. So that was, that's definitely a storyline for this game. But as I said, let's start with the defenses. For the Sooners, they've been probably the best unit in the Big 12. Considering that they won the conference, they were the best defensive unit in the Big 12. And I know the Big 12 takes a lot of heat for having no defense or too many high-scoring games, and that's going to happen with offenses like the Baylor Bears or TCU Horned Frogs early in the season. When Trevon Boykin was healthy, they were an offensive juggernaut. But I think Oklahoma, they're the total package. I think they're the one team in the Big 12 that has it all. And that starts with Baker Mayfield, a quarterback, of course. But on the defensive side of the ball, their defensive backs, they're not going to, wow anybody, say, oh my gosh, these guys are good, but they're going to do the job and they're going to get it done. That's to be said. After playing Big 12 opponents, we'll see how they do against the Clemson receivers like Artavis Scott. Taking passes off from Deshaun Watson. So defensively though, the Oklahoma Sooners, they have Eric Striker, and he's the one player you're going to want to look out for if you're the Clemson offensive coordinator. If you're Deshaun Watson, you're going to want to look out for big number 19, kind of a linebacker, defensive lineman hybrid. He's fantastic. He is fast. He is very large. He is strong. He's your perfect defensive football player at this level, and he's going to wreak havoc on that young Clemson offensive line, and he's going to do his job. And the young Clemson offensive line is going to have to come up with a way to stop him because for example, in the Big 12 championship game, the de facto Big 12 championship game against Oklahoma State, Eric Striker was all over the quarterback. He could not be stopped, and that is a big reason that the Oklahoma State Cowboys offense was thrown off so early and turned into a blowout win for the Sooners. So Eric Striker is definitely a game changer, as shown in the de facto Big 12 championship game against their rival. So the Tigers are definitely going to watch out for him. And then that's Oklahoma's got a good defensive line, a good front seven. But I think Eric Striker is going to be the one to make the difference for Oklahoma on defense. And on the other side of the ball, we have Clemson, their defense, led by All-American defensive end Shaq Lawson, big number 90 on the end. He's fantastic. He is all about getting to the quarterback. He's all about stopping the run, and he's fast. And he's gonna do. I see him having a big game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's offensive line has been good, has not been great. I think that's something to look out for in this Orange Bowl is the offensive lines. Neither of them has been that great. So I think that's where the defenses are going to have an ability to stand out. But it's not going to be a defensive football game. It's going to be an offensive football game, and that leads me to talking about the offenses. So with Clemson, you got Deshaun Watson at quarterback. He was a Heisman finalist, was invited to New York, came out in the flashy red suit, as we all saw. Deshaun Watson's fantastic. He does everything right. He passes the ball perfectly. He'll run the ball around the edge. He'll take the read option. He'll lead that team. He is the leader of that team, undisputed. He will do whatever it takes to help his team win. He is a fantastic quarterback, and I can't say enough about Deshaun Watson. Um, he's got weapons around him, but so does Baker Mayfield. But we'll get to that in a moment. Deshaun Watson in the backfield, he's got either Wayne Gallman Jr., the sophomore running back, number 9, or they have Zach Brooks, an older running back, but he's been a great player to come in off the bench this year and make plays for the Tigers when they need them most. There was one game this year, I believe, against Boston College where he broke off like 3 runs of 60 yards or more. It was an insane showing for him that night. So look out for Zach Brooks, look out for Wayne Gallman to bail out Deshaun Watson at times if he has trouble or if he gets rattled. I doubt a player of his caliber will get rattled on such a big stage, but that's always something you have to look out for, is who he has on his team that can help him when he can't do it by himself, because you're never going to be able to do it by yourself against a team like Oklahoma. On the outside, I think I wouldn't be the first to talk about Artavis Scott for the Clemson Tigers. I think he's their best receiver. He's a young player. He's very, very fast. He's very versatile. He's going to make guys miss, and he runs routes very well. So you're going to want to watch out for him. So that's the Clemson offense. They're gonna do it all. They're gonna probably start out the game running the ball a little bit. Space out the defense with a couple passes, and then Deshaun Watson's always going to keep the ball, run around, get first downs. It's going to be tough for the Oklahoma defense to stop. Clemson is for sure the best offense that they will have seen this year. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll see. We'll see if Oklahoma can be up to the task of slowing down Deshaun Watson and company. So now we flip over to the Sooner side of things and talk about Baker Mayfield. He's a great quarterback. He, I think he'll be playing with a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder because he was not invited to New York for the Heisman ceremony, even though he thought he should have been. This guy's a ultimate playmaker. He's a gamer. I like to compare him to Johnny Manziel without the off-field issues. Baker Mayfield is a more quiet guy, a guy who is all about leading his team and all about supplying his team with energy to win. Similar to Johnny Manziel, and that's why I compare the two. So I think Baker Mayfield should have been invited to New York for the Heisman, and I think him and his team are going to want to prove that Baker Mayfield should have been there. Even though he did only finish 4th in the voting, as I've said before, he definitely needed that respect to be there, and that would have meant a lot to the Oklahoma program and to the Oklahoma fans as well. So since we're talking about the Oklahoma offense, I gotta mention their running backs. Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon complement each other so well. Samaje Perine's a big, strong back. He's going to run people over. He's going to do whatever he has to do to get in the end zone. He's going to throw blocks for Mayfield when Mayfield keeps. Joe Mixon is going to run the ball the same way Perine is. They're hard-nosed runners. They're going to go downfield. They're going to go right through the defensive line, and they're going to do what they have to do to get the ball in the end zone, because when the Sooners have the ball, they need to score because their defense, is going to struggle, like I said, against Clemson. So they need to capitalize every time they can get, because the more touchdowns they score when they have the ball, it's going to, put less pressure on their defense, obviously. So that's going to be a big thing. On the outside for the Sooners, 2 fantastic, notable receivers. First and foremost, Sterling Shepard, the senior star for the Sooners. I would call him a star player. He's, been there for 4 years. He's been starting for 3. He's a great player. Sterling Shepard's very fast, one of the fastest receivers in college football. He's going to make all the plays. He's going to beat Clemson defenders downfield. He's going to have an interesting one-on-one matchup with Clemson senior cornerback Mackenzie Alexander. So that'll be a good matchup to watch. Then on the other side of things, D.D. Westbrook is Oklahoma's other top receiver, who's very, very fast. Not a big guy, standing at 6 foot 175. But he's definitely going to be a guy to look out for in the slot, and he'll definitely be able to pick up some first downs for his Oklahoma offense. So, as I said in the opening of this is going to be an offensive game. it's going to be back and forth, who can score more touchdowns, who can get more field goals. But in a game like that, it's always going to be, some people would say it's who has the ball last. I'm going to say in this Oklahoma Clemson game, with the magnitude of this game and what it means, I'm gonna say that it's which team can get a critical stop on defense in the final minutes, what team can cause a turnover in the final minutes. It's going to be something like that between these two teams because it's too close. They're very similar when you look at the two teams with what they have skill-wise, and their offensive lines are also very similar. Both young, but they've been sturdy. So it's going to be a very interesting game. I look forward to the Orange Bowl this year. And now we get to my prediction. I've thought about it a lot. But I'm going to take the Oklahoma Sooners in this one to win the Orange Bowl over the undefeated Clemson Tigers, handing them their first loss of the year, which would be their last game. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm saying the Sooners are going to win. I'm saying 49-38. Oklahoma wins the game. I know that's winning by 11 points over a Clemson team that hasn't lost all year. That's saying something, but I think Oklahoma's offense is just fantastic, and I think they are better than Clemson's offense. Now, I just got done saying it's going to come down to defense. I think Oklahoma's defense, led by Eric Stryker, with those cornerbacks and with that very solid defensive line, they are going to be able to make a play in the end to beat the Clemson Tigers and advance to the national championship game for the first time since 2009. And I know Coach Bob Stoops will be very happy about that. So that's my assessment of the Orange Bowl for 2015 between Clemson and Oklahoma. I hope you enjoyed, and please, like this, comment, subscribe to my page, watch my hype videos, anything. Just trying to get it out there a little bit. Merry Christmas to you all, and Happy New Year also. And let's see some good football. Thanks for listening.